Okay, here's something else I specifically do also. I will leave the bottom rivet in on this one. This one is actually on the passenger side. And we are going to, if you see, that rivet actually hits the head right here. We don't want that head gasket to be moved in any direction whatsoever. Okay, so we don't want anything forced to see it, and it'll leave a gap right there also. I mean, that is ridiculous. So any spot that it's actually going to hit the block or the head, I'm showing you this side because we're doing it first. We're going to pull both those out. And then we're going to do the other side. I think I only have one left in the other side. I'll show you here in a minute. So what I wind up doing is putting electrical tape up here. Been doing this for a long time, and this is how I do it, y'all. Before I tighten down the head bolts, I'll pull that electrical tape out. I'll just get them up there and get them close to being snug. And this is one thing it'd been nice if Fel-Pro would have fixed. All they had to do was rearrange the head gasket just a little bit in order for this to actually work. They could have put a tab way on out, just add a little bit more metal, and that would have took care of the problem. But this is how come I think a few of them come back in and actually leak. I could be wrong, but either way, I do it because I want a flat surface whenever I do it. I don't want anything pulling on that head gasket at all. It is time to show you what I got to do to get these head gaskets on. Okay, one of the first things I do anyways, give me a little bit of oil, put a little drop on my finger, right around that cylinder. You don't want that cylinder dry after all that brake cleaner has went around in there. So you just get you enough, just a drop's all it takes. Do that on both sides, get all the cylinders nice and lubricated for you. Okay, so what we do is we take a little brake cleaner, just do that, take your air, get all the dirt out of there. Then what you do is you grab you a good old drop of oil, take your little bit of oil right there, put it on the end. Don't put too much. I did too much there. And that's going to help it run in and get your torque correct, okay? That is very, very important, getting all this clean right here like this. All right, we're going to put it in. We're going to start torquing down this engine. Okay, so we grab our head gasket for this side. If you remember, there, you know, we only have 2 out on this one. And we are good. Once we do that, make sure all your paper towels are out of your head. If you actually do that on the head and stuff it, I'm double checking, making sure there's no dirt on it. Exhaust clean, intake's clean. We are ready. So now we're going to put it on here. There we go. Put our first bolt in. And yes, all that dirt you see on this, I'm leaving all the oil, all that'll go on down in there, but I mean not go down in there. All that'll be cleaned up here in just a minute. I take some brake cleaner, get it damp on that rag, and it'll pretty well tack all that up right there. Takes a minute to run this in. Once you get it so far, I got another little tool I'll show you here in a minute. I don't know if I can use it or not with my rear in the way. Yep, sure can. This is a speed wrench. It's like an old drill kind of setup, but it's called a speed wrench. And that is how you run them in. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and clean the rest of them bolts, get them all in there, and then we're going to work on torquing down the head bolts. This one had no tape on it, okay? The other side's the one with the tape, so we'll pull out that tape as we're heading. Okay, now that we got one bolt in, just one right there, got a little bit of a gap, I'm just going to take this and just pull my tape. That's all I got to do. Make sure it all comes out, okay? All of it came out. Once you do that, now we can put in the rest of the bolts. Okay, so now it's time to tighten up the head bolts. What I do is I snug everything first. We're going to start at 35 foot-pounds, okay? Now I'm still got snug apparently. That's just too much. So I'll go around. You're going to do a crisscross pattern, okay? And then we're going to come back around. Now should be able to hit 35. Nope, not yet. I didn't snug it tight enough apparently. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to do our rounds again. Make sure you crisscross it. And you can't crisscross one of them. I mean, it's just how it works. Okay, now we should be able to go. There we go, 35, 35, 35, 35. Okay, so there's your idea. Now what I'm going to do, we're going to do a time lapse. I'm going to go ahead and do all this. We're going to raise it 10-pound increments. till we hit 75 foot-pounds, okay? So I'm just going to jump from side to side, and then I'll come back in here and tell you how to finish it. Now what we do is we take 2 center bolts only. We take them up to 85 foot-pounds. Both sides. I double check them. The reason I'm jumping from side to side, number one, I don't have to reset it every 10 pounds. And it lets the other side cool down. And that's another reason why I go 10 pounds. If it feels like it keeps on moving, that one just don't feel right. Okay, so we'll take it a little bit more. You go over to 85, you'll be all right. Because they're long bolts, I don't like how that one's going. But because they're long bolts, they flex a little bit. Okay, that one's locked. We're good on that side. Let's double check this side. Y'all like, what is that goofball doing? See, these ain't moving. Those are good. And yeah, I'm hitting it 3 times. It kind of happens. These are still moving. I still ain't liking them. So we'll torque it down just a little bit more. Okay, that's better. We're gonna do that. That one still sucks. Why is it doing that? Usually they lock up after I take them so far. Okay, well we're going. That's bottom one's moving, top one. Okay, that's going to be it. I don't want to take it no more. So then what we're going to do, we're going to let this back out, and we're going to take it to 75 foot-pounds. I always double check everything, y'all. So we'll go to 75. So we're going to do the whole crisscross. Make sure the head's still at 75. That one turned, and they might turn a little bit because we tightened up the 2 center ones. So that's why we're going back around. Okay, we're good there. Now we're coming over to this side. I don't know why I'm doing the center, just habit, I guess. You see those turn. So we'll go back around one more time on it. That one's good. That one's good. All right, they're all locking up. Now, we're going to go back up to 85 again. Well, I'm going to do 2 center ones. Okay, those are locked in. We are good on that side. Okay, bottom's locked. That top one's just being a pain, I'll tell you, but we're going to leave it right there. Shouldn't move, but we'll leave it be. That does happen from time to time. Once they heat up, they'll hold. Everything will expand. It will be okay. All right, that is it. Now we're heading to the valve cover pan gaskets. That's how y'all do it. And I ain't had no problems out of these Fel-Pros, y'all. Just redo it there. They're good. I got new valve cover pan gaskets. Now we're going to pop these off. We're going to get all this cleaned in here. We're just going to take a paper towel, dampen it with some cleaner, and go in there and wipe that stuff out. Because there ain't a whole lot. There's just a little tiny bit in there. And get on the valve cover pan gaskets. Okay, now it's time for our spark plug seals. I just tamp them on like that. Make sure they're on there all the way. We're going to put that on both sides real quick. Then we got our valve cover pan gaskets that we're heading for. Now I don't do much here, y'all, so don't get mad at me. I tell you to clean everything else, and here I am not cleaning this very good. But this is what I do. We're just going to throw that in the floor for right now. Okay, now as long as this is still clean in here, which it is, okay? If there is a piece of dirt, get it out. Other than that, I just take it, do that, and that sucks because there's actually a little dirt right there. So I'm going to have to get a paper towel. There's one halfway clean. And we are going to get that little bit of dirt out. If that don't work, I will fire up the air. Okay, there it is. It's out. And everything is good. Got a little oil down there on the bottom. It'll squeeze out here in a few minutes. I don't see anything else. Make sure your spark plug seal holes ain't got no dirt in it. Okay, now we got to find where is our... Make sure your... well, you'll know on the gasket. Never mind, I ain't know why I'm even telling y'all. Just make sure you put on your gasket correctly. How about that? Okay. It's only a one-way gasket, so it should be pretty explanatory, or whatever that word is I'm trying to use, y'all. Who knows what that word was. But, push it down on there real good. Make sure everything's lined up. Double check your bolts. Double check, make sure ain't no dirt down in there. Just dirty oil is all I see. And then we're just going to take our bolts here, wipe them off a little bit. Make sure there ain't none in the threads. Look good. Let's get the first one on anyways. So, and get it put on there. Make sure your seals are on before you do this. I had to take it off before because I've been so tired before that I forgot the seals. And I was like, why is there still a gap in there? But, and these bolts don't matter where you put them back at. I mean, it does. You've got to put them back in these 6 holes. But it don't matter which one of them 6 holes you put them back in. Just make sure they're there, y'all. Make sure they're there. So we're going to go ahead and finish this up. Make sure all your bolts are clean. Don't matter on the outside, y'all. I ain't going for looks on the outside. I'm concerned about the internals working. That way, the motor will last a lot longer. Now there is a rusted hole right here, so what we're going to do is we're going to put a clean bolt back in that hole. This motor will not come apart again. 100,000 miles, it'll be time to get another car anyways. It will have like 262,000. If we have a problem, then we will definitely fix it. Oh, if I can get up, y'all, if I can get up. All right, and where is our, there it is. Now we're just going to do a crisscross pattern just like we did on the head bolts. Same way, y'all. Same way. Stop right there. Do not tighten these down, because you want to do it and get this gasket in here good. So you want to crisscross everything, and then you can torque it down afterwards. And we're pretty much there, because you don't want to crimp that gasket or anything like that. So now what I'm going to do, these two middle ones are pretty well tight. So we're going to snug them up. And I'm going to pull back out that bolt, y'all. I didn't like that. So we're going to put some anti-seize on that bolt's what we're going to do. That had too much rust on it. What am I doing? Over here. See, I'm getting sidetracked again. And just snug everything. Now there's no torque on these, so just, snug them. There's a lock point. It will lock down and it can't go no further. Worst case you can do is break off the bolts, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and clean these, and I'm going to get the other side done, and then we'll get on to the next. Figure I better go ahead and show y'all what I'm anti-seizing. All I'm anti-seizing, ew, man, these mixed up, y'all. Gee whiz, that's like a slimy, gooby mess. Okay, all we're anti-seizing is there. We are not anti-seizing the threads, because, well, that is way too much anti-seize, y'all. Way too much. Okay, well, we'll get that off there, and smear it around and save it for the next bolt, because we got another bolt over there we want to do. Heck, we'll put a little bit right there. And then we're going to put it back in. Now we're going to put the other anti-seize on this one. Smear it around there a little bit. Hopefully it gets on the Aluminum too. These engines are real bad about that aluminum corroding. Salt does a number on aluminum. A lot of people don't realize that, but it will do a number. Okay, so we're just going to tighten them back up, snug them, get them going, and then we'll double check everything on this side. And then all we got to do is the other side. And we will be doing intake, timing, and installing the motor. But that is how it is done, y'all. It's pretty simple. Oh, I still got to show you to blow out the intake and stuff like that here in a little bit too. I forgot about that. Okay, I'll show you here in just a few. Let's get this other side done. One important thing you need to do is definitely clean up your mess after you're done. I've been cleaning as I go a little bit, but we got a pretty good mess here. So I'm gonna get all this gathered up and we are going to install the intake and install the timing belt. We're gonna blow out get ready to put on the intake, and we are going to blow out these ports right here. So what I've got is a thing I made. Whoops, didn't mean to knock that over. And we're going to take it and we're just going to run it down in there. We're going to blow them all out that way. And then we're going to look down in here with a flashlight and make sure there is no dirt. And we're going to start putting on the intake. All right, it's all clean. We're going to put on the intake gaskets. Set them down in there. No silicone on these. They just sit right on there. Make sure everything, I didn't double check that. Make sure you ain't got no dirt there. Where we blew that, it should be good. Let me double check the other side, because I didn't look for some weird reason. I probably did and just didn't pay no attention. There's two pieces right there. And these Felpro intake gaskets are real nice. Okay, let's get the intake on. Leak out a little bit of gas there, and there we go. All right, we will start tightening it down and connect everything up. Okay, one thing I wanted to mention is I always tighten, I don't tighten them. I just get them just about there, all the way around to make sure they're all running in, because you can have one of them lopsided because the intake don't sit down there exactly. And then what I do is I tighten up the center ones first, go to the outside, and switch sides. I'm going to do this side twice, that way it's done. And I just put it where I think I feel it. I don't know what it's supposed to be at, probably 20 foot-pounds or something. I'll tell you the torque on the cam and the damper wheel pulley here in just a few. It's in the book. If y'all want the specs, just go buy a Haynes manual. It's in there. Just don't do the torque specs on the head gaskets. The way they want to do their angles on there ain't exactly the best. No real accurate way to say that that's it. You know what I mean? Don't make no sense. But we're going to change spark plugs here in a minute too. I forgot about that, and I wanted to wait till I got it back together because there wasn't a whole lot of crust or anything on the top of the cylinder heads that will fall down in there whenever I change out spark plugs. We're going to run a fuel injector cleaner on this afterwards too. I got put in that tin, but we're going to go ahead and change spark plugs in this real quick. Okay, I also wanted to show y'all, I run a NGK V-Power, okay? V-Power, not G. On these, it's a cheap plug, about $4 a piece or something like that. I don't remember, I bought them though. But, let me show you what these are. And I think they're a copper center on these, okay? Let me get this up here just a little bit closer and show you all. All it does is have a little split right there, okay? I like these spark plugs, been running them for a long time. So that's what we're putting in anyways. We're going to go ahead and put our plastic covers on real quick and get our stuff in time. I just want to show you all the process of this real quick. It don't take very long, y'all. Y'all can fast forward a little bit if you want. I just figured I'd show you everything I do on the timing. We'll kind of slow it down right here just a little bit and get her on there. So we're just going to get these two on here. Now we're going to do this side over here. And then we're going to get ready to, man. Okay, we'll get it. Check it out. Come on, quit. Okay, there we go. We'll get them in there. Stand up, I can't sit down and do that. All right. And show y'all how I actually torque down the cam bolts. And I do the center one while it's in the car. I don't know, I might do it while it's out. I'll show you how I do that on the automatics anyways. All right, make sure you know which way your pulleys go. This one goes on the passenger side, 2 marks. They are, there was different timing gears for these for all the way up to, I think, 2009 or 10. I can't remember which year they changed them out completely to these ones right here. And here is our center one. We'll show you where you put your timing marks. And here is our plastic one. No marks on it at all. That's how you know which one of these gears. This one has 2 little marks on the back that I showed you. That goes to the camshaft sensor. This one has no sensor on this side to read it. So that is how we're doing that. Now we're going to put these up in time. As soon as I find my 17. There we go. We're going to run this one back a little bit. Kind of knocked it out. So while the cams are there, we're going to go ahead and rotate this engine all the way over. Since that is too far out. I might be able to knock it back. Let's find out. I doubt it. Hope I got the right socket on it, y'all. There was no socket there, was there? Oh yeah, we got it back. Then just break it loose. It's only a little bit off right there. I'll show y'all it here in 1 second, and we're going to roll that one up. And we got to roll it. Why am I taking that off? Then we got to roll this other one around. Okay, now I'm going to show you what we're looking at. And put you right there. There's a little line right here. Ignore the pink. You're looking for lines, okay? There's an embedded line right there. We're going to take it. This one's the hardest one to do. It will kick out on you. So just get it to about right there. And I went too far. This one might kick out. This one's staying pretty good. Okay, you want that line aimed right up there on the top one. I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me get this camera off here, show y'all a little bit better. And there is what we got. We got that little indentation, and then we have a cutout right there. That is how you line that one up. Then we run over right here. This one's off a little bit, okay? I'll get it lined up whenever I get the belt on. It has room for adjustment. There's a line there, also a mark there. That is actually an indent, okay? And that's an indent. And see that little line right there? That's where you're lining it up. So we're off just a little bit. I'll line it up with the belt to get it completely. It ain't got to be perfect exactly. And there is your other one. There is no mark for this one. So, I mean, there is. You got this mark. You line it up right here. Not over here on the valve curve pan gasket. Right here where the rocker arm assembly holds together, okay? That line right there. Okay, now let's get the belt, get this refocused, get you all aimed in there, and I will show you, where'd my belt go? Oh heck, it's right there, y'all. Now this is a original Subaru belt. I definitely recommend these Subaru belts. They last a lot longer, a lot better material on the belts. Oh, 3 dots is what you're going with on the Subaru belts. It's always a center one. This is a side one, and that is a side one. So we are doing 3 dots right there. Oh, well, look what I didn't do. I didn't put no pulleys on. So what we have is we have got some pulleys that I saved off of a car that are still good. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to put these on. That would probably help. Okay, wait a minute, we didn't even press that in. Okay, hold on, I gotta go over on the press. Okay, we're back, and we got the pin in. Let's see if it works this time. It had to. Either way, we're gonna run that in there. I gotta find my 14. Where is, oh, it's right in front of me. I just gotta find the adapter, okay. So we're gonna run that in all the way. Okay, now we're gonna back it back out, leave a little bit of slop in there. We're gonna go ahead, put this one up here on top. Well, we can just do it that way, y'all. Now what I wind up doing is I leave one pulley off temporarily. It makes it a lot easier to do this. And I leave my pulleys loose. Let's go ahead and run that one where it needs to be. And the reason I run them loose is because sometimes these belts don't fit. The Subaru belt should fit right on. I shouldn't have no problem. But the doggone gates and everything, that one has a little bit of an issue. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and run it around this one. We're going to put it up on our timing mark. Our mark there lines up on our mark there. That is what we're mainly heading for. Okay, then I'm going to take it. I'm going to hold that right there for a second. The other side, that mark goes on this mark on the pulley. Those are the main important things you're doing here, is you want to get those. And then I run this bottom pulley right here, which can be a pain sometimes, but like I said, this one's a Subaru belt, so it's good. Now, we take our other pulley, and we always put the bottom one in right here last. Okay? Now, well, let's get it started, y'all. Let's get it started. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go around, and we're going to tighten all these to 29 foot-pounds. Always double check that one. Sometimes they're loose if you got them in a kit. Okay, so 29 foot-pounds there. We're going to run these. These call for 58. We're running to 60. Okay, that is what we're putting on these ones. This one is going to be 133 foot-pounds is what we're putting on this. Now, I'm going to tighten these up to 29, and then I'll show you how I get the, what I do. Okay, let's find some parts, y'all. Find some parts. We're doing 29 foot-pounds on this, and I round it off to 30. So that is what we're doing. Okay, now that I found another tool, we'll just go ahead and run that in. I did not pull the pin yet. Pin's still in. Okay, there that is. Now, let's get our torque down. And it don't take a lot, 30 foot-pounds. Like I said, it calls for 29. Don't want to overdo it, you'll definitely strip this one. These are bad about it. I'm gonna go around one more time, make sure everything is good. Hard to believe 30 foot-pounds holds that. Okay, now, I'm gonna make sure all your timing marks are good, lined up, okay? And we have an issue. This is what happens. Every once in a while, something happens. So we slipped off one. We're going to move that over one tooth. That one's still good, and that one's still good. Like I said, you want to line it up on your pulleys more than you want to line it up on this. That's just a reference. This is where you do it on the lines. Okay, let's redo this and get that focus back in. Well, this sucks. Okay, I got to take this one back out. And this is why we did not take the tensioner out. Hopefully this ain't it. Dun, 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 dun. We're double checking all the pulleys again, and we're going to put it on this bottom one and pull that. Well, sometimes you got to take a ratchet, keep you a little bit of tension right here. I'm pulling down with one finger and do that, and that's how I lost it a minute ago, I guarantee you, because yeah, I wasn't paying no attention. I just pulled on it. Now we're going to put this back in. and torque it back down to 29 foot-pounds. No. Torque wrench still set on 29. Yes. Okay. We'll run through one more time. Now, every once in a while I have to retime this thing again. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to pull the pin. I'm going to take my big ratchet, tap that a couple times. You see how that tightened up the belt? Now, we're going to put our 60 foot-pounds on these. Let me show you how I do that. So what I do is usually take a screwdriver, but take a tire iron because I don't know where the heck my screwdriver is. And we're going to go through the access port down here. Let me show you how I locked it up. I just locked it up right there. And whenever I'm doing it in the car, I lock it up the same way. There'll be a torque converter bolt there, but there's still room, so that's why I usually use a screwdriver. And then up here on the intake, right here where the coil pack goes, lock it up right there. Now we're going to torque it down. Okay, one important thing is, grab the belt, squeeze that sucker hard right there, okay? However you want to do this. I usually hold it on that side real tight. And there you go. It is in. Now, as you see, there's a lot of space right there right now. So what we're going to want to do is I need to take that 17 off before I let go of that. And we're going to have to recheck the timing. I'm going to show you how we do that too. So I'm going to go ahead and pull some tension out right there. Maybe. It ain't letting me do it. No. Okay, let me do it that way. That's good, that's good. Okay, so now we're going to smack back down on this. Don't do it too hard. Put back in our 22. One of these years we'll get it. And then we're going to rotate this thing around. Right now everything's upside down. There's time mark, the other one's down here. So what we're going to do, oh, well, it's been a while, y'all. Take your tire iron out. That's why the belt can wouldn't move over there. Okay, rotate this thing around until you line back up your timing marks. Get them. I'm going to get this one exact, okay, right here. Here's the thing. Where I done rotated that engine, I can take it all backwards and it'll pull back in these timing marks right. But here's what we're looking at now. Okay, as you see, there is no mark on our belt anymore. So we're looking at this one. This one's lined up pretty well right on. This one is lined up exact on. And this one is lined up exactly on. I know I'm moving a lot on the camera. This one's the only one off a little bit. That's because of the belt, you know. I mean, really it's exact on. My eye was, there we go. It's exact on. That was my eyeballs, y'all. But either way, there you go. The only time mark that's even close is this one because of where I rotated it. Like I said, you can run it backwards and double check. Another thing you need to do, take your engine, rotate this thing, people. If y'all do that after you get it in the car and get the everything on there, is that going to tighten up? I can't have that. There we go. I'll say I can't have that loose. But after everything tightens up, when it's in the car and you're doing your torque on this, which I'm going to go ahead and torque this one down here in a minute back there. But when you're in the car doing timing belt, rotate your engines, y'all. Make sure you ain't going to hit a valve, okay? That is the easiest way to do this. Just rotate it. I mean, rotate it 5-6 times. Ain't no harm in that. A little bit extra time. I'm gonna bring my time mark back up. There we go. All right. Now it's time. Don't do that. That hurt. I always use my hands like that. It's probably why my hands are messed up. So all we gotta do now is put the timing cover back on. We're gonna reuse this thermostat, and we got a new gasket for it right there. Put it on there. Put it back in the car. Y'all do thermostats. Make sure get a Subaru thermostat. The only one I seen made right was over at Napa, and it was made in Germany, okay? This one's made right, and it's from the Subaru dealer. If you want to replace it, go to Subaru dealer, get you a new one, okay? Do not get them from most of parts store. There's only, like I said, there's only one I ever found from Napa that is made in Germany that will work, okay? Got to have that weep hole. Got to have a good thermostat. Don't want to blow the head gaskets. Okay, y'all, I'm going to put back together this timing cover, and I think that's about it. We'll do the torque on the crankshaft. Okay, y'all, time for the crank pulley. Damper wheel pulley, how about that? 22 millimeter, 133 foot-pounds is what we're putting it. I usually just run it in by hand. We're gonna rotate it and lock it up again with the torque wrench, y'all. That is it. $133. That looks good to me. All right, where is our, there it is. So first, oh man, look at that. Look at that, it's right on the dot. Okay, I'm not doing it that way. I'm gonna push down on it from that side. Reason why, you don't want to lift up the engine and flip it over. 133 foot-pounds is actually a pretty good bit. I'm going to hold this one with my hand up here. There we go. We are good. Pull this out. Man, what does that mean? That means I put in them 2 spark plug wires that's been sitting out the whole doggone time. And this thing is ready to install in the car. Wait, no it ain't. No it ain't. So here's what we're going to do. I don't know if I record this or not, y'all, but either way, we got a brand new rear main, 20 bucks. And we're going to install that, but I got to get this thing up on the chain hoist, put it back in the car. I will probably just time lapse everything, you all, on that, just for extra video, I guess. If y'all want to watch me put it in the car, usually takes me about 2.5 hours and about an hour, hour and a half of warm up just to burp the system, which it ain't hard to burp. But other than that, on the head gaskets, like I said, there'll be extra video at the end. But we are done head gasket wise. I'll put those 2 in there, unbend a couple things, get this back together. You all enjoy, have a good day, and we will see you all on the next one. Okay, y'all, on this rear main anyways, you just want to clean all the way around it. I just stuff a paper towel in there, go around it, make sure you clean it real good. Make sure ain't none down in there, and there is, so we got to go in there and we got to get a little bit more. Okay, we got that. And now, you got an O-ring right here and that cap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean that up right there with some brake cleaner. And clean this up. We're going to, oh, that one is rock hard. And I ain't got another O-ring for it. I'm going to try to get this out of here. And let's see if we can't get that without breaking. If we do break it, it's okay because we got silicone. It's coming off slowly. It is stuck on there real good. So once you get that off, we're going to save this. I'd like to have another O-ring. I'm going to look, see if I got one, but if you ain't got one, scuff this up with a little bit of sandpaper, clean it with brake cleaner, put your little mega copper on there, and works pretty good. So we'll get that back on, and then we'll do the rear main. Okay, as far as your rear main, just take your little bit of oil, go around the inside so it ain't dry. You can put grease on it too if you want. I just run oil because that's what's actually going through the system. And it'll get there quicker. Then all we're going to do, double check, make sure nothing fell in there. I see something. Let me get that out, whatever it is. Let's not use that rag. Set that over there. Okay, let's see what the heck that is, y'all. Might have to get some air in here. I got a piece of it out. There we go, I got it. It went to the floor. Okay, let's run this around one more time since I missed that one. Looks like a piece of silicone is what it was. Okay, we are good now. So then we're just going to take this. Once you get it in there, get it lined up. Just want to tap it just a little bit. Don't hit it real hard. You don't want to bend it. So we're just going to do that. Okay, now what we're going to do, I ain't got a socket big enough and didn't want to buy one that big. So they also make things that's actually for the seals to put them in, but this will work. Just don't tap it real hard. Just a socket, ratchet, hammer, whatever you want to use. It's just what was by me. You want to get it all the way in there. I'll show you how far here in a minute. You want to get it flush with that piece of metal on the outside, not this. Flush with this one. That's recessed just, oh man, in between I'd say 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little further. So I recess it just a little bit below it. But you at least got to go to right there. And what I do is this will stop. As long as you have it lined up like that, you'll stop, hit this metal right here, and keep it from actually going any further. Because you can set it on in there, but then all your oil's going to come out because your seal's useless. So you definitely don't want to do that. I've seen people do it before. I think it needs to be set in all the way. I just run my finger around, feel, make sure it's all the same. And it feeling pretty doggone good. I'll go around one more time. And yes, my socket makes some nicks on the aluminum. It ain't gonna hurt it, y'all. All right, one more time. Let's check it. Feeling pretty good. All right, we're ready to put the plate on and put this thing in the car. I just want to show you all that real quick for a second. And I ain't gonna clean none of this. This will dry up. It'll be fine. This plate is not leaking. These are not bad about leaking. The old plastic ones that were here that took screws were bad about leaking. This one actually has silicone all the way around it. And well, it's kind of like that Mega Black, Mega Copper. I think it's like $20-some too. But let's time lapse this, get back on the plate, and start putting this thing in the car. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we lined up 2 bolts for the bell housing on the bottom. And then we're going to put a bolt in the top. Once we get that flush, we're going to go ahead and put in torque converter bolts in case we accidentally drop one down in there, so we can actually still get it out, okay, without having to unbolt the whole doggone bolt. I mean, we'll have to unbolt it, but we ain't got to take loose 8 bell housing bolts. So always get your torque converter bolts as soon as you get everything flush. Okay, so I'll just have 2 bolts. I'll have one at the bottom and one at the top, or else 2 at the top. If it all goes flush, then it goes flush. That works. Sometimes I got to kind of work it in there. Okay, let's get on with it. we are, oh, I goofed up. I told you I was going to do torque converter bolts. Well, I ain't going to drop none's what I ain't going to do. By the way, I get torque converter bolts because I done got all the bell housing bolts except for one starter, so there's 7 bell housing bolts in there. All right, let's cross my fingers and hope I don't drop it. Now we're going to install everything on the back of the motor, the starter, the antifreeze lines. I call it a little wishbone goes right here. Our wiring, which ain't much, a couple tubes, antifreeze line. Ain't much there. Once we go there, we're going to work our way towards the front and start installing the rest of it. Probably air compressor, you know, just regular little stuff. There ain't much of these motors. These things are real easy to work on. All right, let's go ahead and time lapse it, y'all. We're going to put the last piece back on the very back. Everything's already connected. That piece right there. We'll put the breather on and stuff later. We're going to start on the power steering pump, air conditioning compressor. We'll probably do the air conditioning compressor first because it is a pain. This is how you burp them. Very easy. Done this all the way back to what year? 1990 something. Who knows? But just break loose this hose. Be sure not to break your radiator. And I'm just going to leave that on there. And you fill up this top radiator hose. Once you fill it up all the way, you'll siphon into the radiator a little bit through that weep hole that's on the thermostat. But you fill this up all the way, put this back on, and fill up your radiator. And then you have to run your heater. After it warms up, you run your heater, make sure it's got heat. You also got to make sure both your overheating fans are kicking on and off like they should be. And then you know you're burped. I usually let it cool down. And once it's cool overnight, I'll warm it back up, make sure them overheating fans kick on exactly when they're supposed to. Not exactly, but I mean close to when they're supposed to. Make sure they shut back down quick. If they don't shut back down quick, you have got a air pocket somewhere causing an issue. All right, y'all, we have still got to, I ain't gonna fill this up yet. I'm gonna go ahead and put on the rest of the breather, and then I'm gonna go underneath and put on 2 motor mounts and 6 exhaust bolts and the shield for the transmission lines underneath. And that will pretty well wrap this one up, I'm pretty sure. Got all the exhaust done underneath. One important thing is exhaust, motor mounts, the shield is to, after you get all this done, rotate your pulley here and just make sure it didn't come out time. Just to make sure. It don't happen, but I'm just saying. always a precautionary. Either way, I gotta go out and get antifreeze. So we're gonna call this one. I'm gonna clean up all my tools, put them over here, and that is gonna be it, y'all. All right, y'all, we're gonna burp this thing here later on. I ain't gonna do it on the video anyways. I'm gonna go out and get a gallon of antifreeze. I ain't got none in here that I want to actually use. And I got the exhaust done, got everything done underneath. The only thing is I got 2 covers right here. We gotta wait till I do the antifreeze so that way I can fill it, put back on that top radiator hose. And I just do the regular green. I don't do no orange stuff. Been using the green for the longest time. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, but it's more expensive orange. Yeah, well, it don't matter. It's all aluminum, man. That's how it works. So use the green. You're all right. I use a whole gallon on it, and whatever's left over is water. So it's about 3/4 of a gallon of water after I'm done. And just burp it. Takes a while to burp it. That is it. Y'all enjoy. Have a good day. We will see you all on the next one.